The Great Hall of the Galactic Council echoed with laughter. Representatives from 17 advanced species shared in the mirth as Ambassador Gray, the human delegate, stood in dignified silence. Dimensional folding? Commander Luxt, the Meridian representative, finally composed himself. Your species barely managed rudimentary space travel a century ago. Now you claim to have solved what our greatest minds declared theoretically impossible? Gray nodded once. We have achieved it. We request the Council recognize Earth's sovereignty over uninhabited systems within our reach using this technology. Request denied, Council Leader Orn declared flatly. Such technology violates fundamental laws of physics. Submit your conventional exploration plans for approval like all developing species. Gray bowed slightly. We understand. Thank you for your time. As the human delegation departed, Admiral Trell approached Orn. They accepted that rather easily. Humans always do, Orn replied. They make bold claims, we explain reality, they retreat. It's been their pattern since first contact. Neither noticed Gray's slight smile as the doors closed behind him. Captain Frank Miller stood on the bridge of the ESS Pathfinder, humanity's first dimensional fold vessel. Behind the gleaming control panels and holographic displays stood decades of research, countless failures, and the collective determination of a species told repeatedly what they could not do. Final checks complete, his executive officer, Lieutenant Jane Adams, reported. All systems optimal. Miller nodded. Coordinates locked for Proxima Station. Confirmed. Fold generators at capacity. The bridge crew, 12 men and women representing Earth's finest, maintained professional composure, but the air crackled with anticipation. Initiate fold sequence, Miller ordered. No dramatic countdown followed. No blaring alarms or flashing lights. The Pathfinder simply disappeared. It reappeared instantly at Proxima Centauri, directly beside the small human research outpost, humanity's farthest permanent settlement. The station's communication officer's voice came through immediately, tinged with awe. Pathfinder, your arrival is confirmed. Transit time, 0. Welcome to Proxima. Miller allowed himself a small smile. Thank you, Proxima Station. Phase 1 complete. Dr. Tom Wilson, architect of the Dimensional Fold Drive, watched the successful test from Earth Command Headquarters. Around him, military and civilian leaders erupted in applause. They said it couldn't be done. General Parker murmured beside him. Wilson nodded. They've been saying that since we asked to join the Galactic Council, humans are too young, too aggressive, too unpredictable. And now? Now we move to Phase 2. The Council denied our request for expansion rights. They believe their monopoly on advanced travel technology keeps younger species in check. Wilson turned to the assembled leaders. Pathfinder's test confirms our technology works. The production fleet is ready. Operation Starfall begins tomorrow. The Galactic Council's primary monitoring station at Epsilon Eridani registered nothing unusual when it happened. No radiation spike, no subspace distortion, no warning whatsoever. One moment, empty space. The next, 12 Earth vessels in perfect formation, each larger than the prototype Pathfinder, each bristling with technology the Council had deemed centuries beyond human capability. Captain Miller, now commanding the fleet flagship ESS Horizon, opened communications. Tension Epsilon Station. This is Captain Frank Miller of the Earth Space Service. We come in peace. Inside the station, Commander Draz stared at the view screen in disbelief. Impossible. Our sensors would have detected your approach. Your sensors are designed to detect conventional FTL signatures, Miller replied. Dimensional folding leaves no signature, no distortion, no warning. A cold realization settled over Draz. If humans could appear anywhere, instantly, without detection. Miller continued calmly. We've established similar fleets at 11 other strategic locations throughout Council space. Not as acts of aggression, but to demonstrate reality. Within hours, the Council chamber convened in emergency session. View screens showed human fleets positioned near major Council worlds and installations. None had fired a shot. None had made threats. Their mere presence, and the method of their arrival, was message enough. Ambassador Gray stood before them again, expression neutral. The technology you declared impossible has rendered your defensive strategies obsolete. Every council world now exists beside human ships that arrived without warning. This is an act of war, Orn hissed. No, Gray countered. This is diplomatic leverage. Had we wanted war, you would not be having this conversation. He placed a data crystal on the central table. Our terms remain remarkably reasonable. Recognition of human sovereignty and colonization rights for uninhabited systems. We seek cooperation, not conflict. And if we refuse, Admiral Trell demanded. Then nothing happens, Gray replied. Our ships remain where they are. Your authority erodes as word spreads that your technological superiority was an illusion. Your member worlds request human protection when they realize your defense grid has been compromised. The council collapses. Silence. 3 days later, leaders from 17 species signed the Human Recognition Accord. The terms were exactly as Gray had initially requested. Nothing more, nothing less. As the ceremony concluded, Orn approached Gray privately. Your technology changes everything. That was inevitable, Gray replied. Change always is. Your ships could have destroyed us. Grady shook his head. That was never our intention. Humanity doesn't seek dominance, only equality and the right to fulfill our potential. I don't understand your restraint, Orn admitted. With such power. Perhaps that's why we achieved what you believed impossible, Gray suggested. You focus on power. We focus on possibility. Back on Earth, Dr. Wilson and Captain Miller stood at the observation deck of Luna Base, watching the diplomatic vessels return. How long before they develop countermeasures? Miller asked. Wilson smiled. They won't. The dimensional fold doesn't break physical laws. It operates on principles they never considered. Their scientific foundations prevented them from seeing the solution. And now? Now we explore, we build. We reach further than anyone thought possible. Wilson gazed at the stars. They didn't believe it could be done. But that's been humanity's story since we first looked upward, doing what everyone else considered impossible. In the distance, the Pathfinder prepared for its next journey, not as a weapon or a threat, but as the vessel that had changed humanity's place in the galaxy, through arrival without warning and victory without violence. The Council's monopoly had collapsed in silence, undone not by force, but by human ingenuity and the simple audacity to attempt what everyone else had declared impossible.